Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Now as we know, Joyce will likely fight Alexander Usyk for the interim WBO world title to allow Anthony Joshua to fight Tyson Fury. Now according to Adam Morley, that fight will happen within 5 or 6 months. At least that is what they have been told by the WBO. So obviously Joyce has his situation where he'll get a world title opportunity. It is for the interim, but obviously Anthony Joshua is fighting for the WBO title with that Tyson Fury fight. So whether the winner of Undisputed vacates the title the next day and the winner of Joyce versus Alexander Usyk is then upgraded to world champion, or whether they get a shot at the winner of Undisputed, we don't know just yet. They haven't stipulated that, so we'll have to wait, I guess, for that information to come. But Joyce has given his assessment of this Undisputed fight between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. He is picking Tyson Fury. He believes that Anthony Joshua has become too wary with the punches that are coming back, so he thinks that Anthony Joshua has kind of adopted this more or less elusive style and a fear of getting hit after the Andy Ruiz Jr. loss. Now Joyce explained that Tyson Fury was able to come back from adversity in the Deontay Wilder fight, but a lot of his adversity came before the fight, so that was his comeback against Deontay Wilder. Obviously he got dropped, but he got back up, and Anthony Joshua actually experienced a loss in the ring, but also came back. But Joyce seems to believe that there will be doubts in Anthony Joshua's mind. In fact, he's seen them in his past couple of fights, and that could be his downfall in with Tyson Fury. And we have heard a lot of this new Anthony Joshua with this new approach to his fights, with a kind of back foot style and a reluctance to engage and get hit. But if you look at that third round with Kubrat Pulev, he did go after him. He did kind of throw caution to the wind, but he was being mature and ensuring that he wasn't being countered. So essentially what Anthony Joshua has done is become more mature and use the fundamentals of boxing to get him the victory. He doesn't necessarily need to get stuck in and go blow for blow with his opponent, because when he does that, he gives them the opportunity to land. He gives them the opportunity he doesn't need to, because Ruiz couldn't do it in the second fight. Kubrat Pulev couldn't do it in their fight, but imagine if Anthony Joshua did allow them to, by standing there in the pocket and just swinging. I mean, he's done that before and come out on top, but you can't always do that in there with that level of opponent, because you will come unstuck. So what Anthony Joshua has done is adapted to survive. So he could go blow for blow with Ruiz, he could go blow for blow with Kubrat Pulev. He probably would have knocked Kubrat Pulev out earlier if he would have done that, but still, if he does that, then he runs the risk of getting countered himself. Same with Ruiz. He can hurt Ruiz, we've seen him drop him, we've seen him hurt Ruiz in the second fight, but he didn't jump on him. He did go after him though, he did pressure him, he did constantly make Ruiz know that you cannot get away with just walking in, carelessly trying to land your own punches. That is why Ruiz didn't. Yes, Ruiz was constantly on the front foot, yes, Ruiz never gave up in the fight, but he was constantly reminded he cannot have it his own way, he cannot just bully Anthony Joshua, because if he could take the power of AJ to dish out his own, then he would have done that. He would have just walked through Anthony Joshua's punches. So I know that Ruiz has this granite chin, and apparently the punches didn't bother him, but if they didn't bother him, then he would have just walked through those punches to land his own, but he didn't. And even in the rematch, when Anthony Joshua was much lighter and Ruiz was much heavier, Anthony Joshua was still able to hurt him in that first round. So that shows how powerful Anthony Joshua's punches are. He's got a great jab as well, moves extremely well, great positioning. So when you factor all of that in, he doesn't need to stand there and go blow for blow with his opponent. Yes, it's very entertaining, and we've seen it many times before. At Wembley with Klitschko at times, trading blow for blow. Klitschko was doing the same, and in there with Dillian Whyte, blow for blow, but still, you always run the risk of being countered. That happened to Anthony Joshua in the first Ruiz fight, when he was looking to get the finish, when he was looking to make a statement, and it wasn't about the victory, it was about making a statement, it was about getting the knockout, as opposed to getting the W and moving on. And Dillian Whyte said something very interesting in the build-up to the second Ruiz fight. He said it to Anthony Joshua because they did come together, and Dillian Whyte offered him some support, or at least just some encouragement for his rematch. What he said to Anthony Joshua and to the media later was, win this one, look good in your next fight. And I agree with that because I think that there are certain opponents that you just cannot look good against. So there are certain styles that do not match up, say with Anthony Joshua's, for a good fight. And if he does, he runs the risk of getting countered like he did in the first Ruiz fight. So that kind of style, Anthony Joshua needs to fight a certain way in order to win. He done that in the rematch. He could have done that in the first fight, but he fought Ruiz's game in the first one. He fought his own in the second one. And that was still a good fight, an entertaining fight. There were sticky moments, there were a lot of punches being landed by either party, but Anthony Joshua was being more elusive and being a lot cleverer than Andy Ruiz. Ruiz had one dimension, he could not shift through the gears. AJ proved he could. So the important thing in that rematch was never to knock out Andy Ruiz Jr., it was to beat him, because if AJ done the same as in the first fight, it proves he's learned nothing from his loss. So why would he do that? Why would he throw caution to the wind a second time and risk getting beaten for a second time again? And then where is he? Who's going to fight him then? He'll get a big fight, yes of course, because he brings big numbers, but he's lost 2 fights in his career and failed to regain his world titles when he could have if he was smarter, more mature, and used his boxing fundamentals that he has there. Remember, he's an Olympic gold medalist, so that is there for him to call upon when he needs it. He's proven he is able to do that, to go in there, step to his man, and get the knockout, but also to box when he needs to. Now, does that mean that Anthony Joshua has become too wary to beat someone like Tyson Fury, who does feint a lot and does have this a double feint, so you never know when the punches are coming and what angles that they are coming from. So would Anthony Joshua maybe be flinching and kind of trying to slip shots when they aren't actually coming? When Tyson Fury does that, well, what Tyson Fury often does is he steps heavy with that lead foot and he double feints. So what Anthony Joshua can do is commit when he does that. And I don't think AJ's necessarily too wary for something like that. I believe in this fight with Fury, he will throw caution to the wind a little bit more, because I do believe he needs to get on the inside. So Tyson Fury will be jabbing, he'll be moving extremely well. Maybe the first couple of rounds might go to him, but I think that Anthony Joshua will have his moments in this fight. It is a 50-50, Joe Joyce also did say that, while saying that Anthony Joshua is a little bit too wary, but he did say it's a 50-50 fight, but he is going with a Tyson Fury. So is there any way in which Anthony Joshua can outbox him? Well, it's not going to be unheard of if he is able to, but I do believe that the fight will be fought in moments. Tyson Fury will have his, then Anthony Joshua will have his. So it will be a genuine 50-50 in the fact that the rounds will be quite even, but some of them will be stolen by, say, Tyson Fury at one point, then Anthony Joshua. I believe that Tyson Fury will try to get a handy lead over Anthony Joshua in the early rounds, jabbing, moving, being awkward, trying to win the rounds in the early stages, to make Anthony Joshua have to commit, to make him lose his shape, maybe be like he was in the first Ruiz fight, to kind of feel like he has to go on the front foot and has to get a knockout. That will be the plan of Tyson Fury, I think. So he'll want AJ to be outboxed in the first couple of rounds, then Anthony Joshua will have to go looking for Tyson Fury if he wants to find his way back into the fight, and then he leaves himself vulnerable, and potentially he could get tired whilst going on the front foot, so Tyson Fury can step on him then, in the later half of the fight. That would be the kind of game plan I would imagine Tyson Fury would go for. And as for Anthony Joshua, he cannot be too wary, but he needs to show Tyson Fury the respect he deserves. He does need to get on the inside and close at that distance, because those short shots, the uppercut and the hooks on the inside, could be vital to Anthony Joshua's success in there with a Tyson Fury. Because if he is able to get those shots off on the inside, then he is able to work down to the body also. He can start breaking down Tyson Fury. It will be a mindset battle in the early stages. I don't expect too much to be happening in the first round or two, but it will catch fire at some point, because one fighter will become desperate because they'll be behind, or they'll need to find something in the fight to show that they can win it. And the winner of the fight will be the one who sticks to their game plan the best, the one who holds their nerve, because they won't feel like they have to engage in a certain way to win the fight. They need to stick to their game plan and stay mentally strong. That is going to be the most important thing in this fight. If they lose their shape and go away from their game plan, then that could spell trouble for either party. So that will be very interesting in this undisputed fight. But guys, anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below, leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. Thanks guys.